What's up, guys? Closplay here with a video that I meant to do yesterday, but I just wasn't motivated. I was too busy eating pizza and drinking vanilla Coke, but here I am to do that video. My top 5 favorite albums of January 2022. Now, I'm not going to go in depth on why I love these albums. You know, I just don't feel like it. I'm just going to say, hey, love this album and all that. I'll try to go a little in depth, just so you guys aren't just like, okay, say something more. Excuse me. But, yeah. Let's just go into it. Before we start the actual list, I want to give one honorable mention to Elegy by Shadow of Intent, one of the most satisfying albums I've heard in a while, because, I didn't have high hopes for this, because I wasn't a fan of most of their stuff. I always liked Declaimer. I always thought that was a good album, but nothing else really interested me that much. But this was this was fucking awesome. And I feel like the next album is going to be meh, too, because that's kind of the pattern with this. But, yeah, love this album. And it sucks it couldn't make the top 5, but whatever. Coming in at number 5 is an EP, and that is Torture World by Great American Ghost. Now, I've been listening to these guys since 2019. I remember seeing them with Within the Ruins, and then just haven't really listened to them again until like February of 2019. And that show was 2018, by the way. And after listening to this, I've always been a fan of these guys. After listening to this, fucking wow. I don't think I've ever heard them use clean vocals. Maybe they did in their old stuff, and I'm just stupid. But, in their last 2 albums, no, right? And the cleans are amazing, too. And, the music itself has pretty much become Alpha Wolf 2.0, which, listen to Quiet Place to Die and then listen to this. You hear no difference. And that's not a bad thing. Like I've said in my favorite albums of 2021 list, if it sounds good, it sounds good. This sounds awesome. I love it. Great American Ghost is just such a good band, man. And they got some of the hardest riffs in hardcore, metalcore, And they're just awesome, man. Love them. And so, yeah, this is at number 5. Number 4, Comeback Kid with Heavy Steps. Another very bass chungus hard album. Comeback Kid, I actually haven't listened to them in a long time. And I found out they were dropping an album, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna listen to this album. I listened to this album. It was so good. It's like Downswing. It reminds me a lot of Downswing, and how it has those really hard hitting breakdown-esque riffs. Not really breakdowns, but you get what I mean. Beatdown. I'm an idiot. And they're the melodies too, when it comes to the melodic sound, how they do melodics is just amazing. And now the artwork, I don't like the artwork, okay? But the artwork and the music are 2 different things. I like the music on this. It's very bass. Comeback Kid has always been an interesting band to me. I've always liked their stuff, their last 2 albums especially. And yeah, we waited 5 years for this, and it definitely paid off. Number 3, Enox, Euphoria. Now, this was my most anticipated album of the month, because I didn't know what other albums were dropping. And this is, well, it was the one I was most excited for, because, I've been a fan of these guys since they were still Enochian, when they had that song, Convulsions. Love that song, and I love that they closed out the album with this, too. It's awesome. And I love how filthy the djenty riffs are on this, too. And, because it's static, but it's listenable to me. Because you guys know me, I hate static guitar tones, and I have that problem with a lot of metalcore bands. But this was fucking great. And I've heard most of these songs because most of them were already singles. And if I had to pick a favorite of the songs that we haven't heard, Tragedy, easily the catchiest song on the album, or at least, well, okay, not the catchiest song on the album, the catchiest of the ones that we haven't heard. But yeah, I love this album. It paid off, and really sad that I missed these guys in Brooklyn when they played with Black Lotus. Damn, I was really looking forward to that, but oh well, shit happens. Number 2, As Within, So Without, Salvation. This was originally number 1 until I heard another album yesterday. Now this, take maybe half the things that made the Enox album great, because this one wasn't very djenty. And then maybe +1, +2, I don't know. But this is another amazing metalcore album with fantastic melodies, fantastic riffs, drums. The drums on this album are really sick. I love it. And, I love the art cover too. The album cover. Ugh, awesome. This album is awesome. I absolutely loved it. And here it is at number 2. Number 1. I just heard this album yesterday for the first time. Absolutely fell in love with it. And that is The Last 10 Seconds of Life, self-titled. One of the hardest albums I've ever heard. And without a doubt, the hardest album of the month. This is just absolutely filthy deathcore with really like cryptic melodies in a way, kind of like how Prison does it. And just riffs for days, man. The song Altar of Poisons, I think that's what it's called, just hit me like a fucking rock. I'm a little too far from the camera. That song just blew my mind. And the song Vampire is one of the weirdest yet hardest songs I've ever heard. And I'm saying hard a lot in this one, but it's the truth. Yeah, I just love this album, man. And this is actually the first time I've heard a Last 10 Seconds of Life album in its entirety. Like, I've always heard the song Pain is Pleasure, one of the best deathcore songs of all time. And I think this actually would be more filthy with Storm Strope on the vocals. But, just because he's not on it doesn't mean it's not brutal. Excuse me. Absolutely love this album. I gotta listen to their other stuff. I will. But yeah. This is my favorite album of the month, without a doubt.